Let's write a C program to find size of an array where array size is not mentioned explicitly, that is number of elements present inside the array. Let me show that to you with an example. In this case, a of 5 is mentioned. That means the array has 5 elements. What if it's written like this, wherein the size is not mentioned explicitly? In this case, you could directly count it, but what if there are hundreds of elements inside this array and the size has not been explicitly mentioned? In that case, make use of size of operator. Size of the array variable name would fetch the full total memory utilized by this array, divided by, if you divide the total memory by the memory occupied by one single element. So all these things are integers, right? So size of int would give the size occupied by one element, or instead you could just write a of 0 or a of 1 or anything like that, one single element of that array. I'll keep it to a of 0, because assuming that we at least have one element in that array. So in this case, it would return the number of elements or the size of the array. Okay, so let's see how we could utilize this formula and calculate the number of elements or the size of an array in our C program. So to start with, I'll take an array and won't mention its size explicitly. I'll initialize with some elements, random elements by the way, 3. I'll start with 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, 32, 4, 35, 65, 2, 30, 23, 56. I'll come down 56, maybe 67, 8, 9, 0, 8, 9, 0, 3, 2, 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like that. Enough. That's it. So I actually don't know how many elements are present in this array. So how would you determine that? Okay, so you could take another variable, integer variable, to count it, or else you might think you already know the for loop. So you could take I and start with for loop immediately, initialize it to 0, because we know the initial index, which is 0, but do you know the final index or the largest designator of this array? No, right? So you don't know how many times for loop has to iterate to count it, right? So that method won't work. So I'll take another variable count and make use of the formula. Let me directly initialize it here itself. So let me make use of size of operator and pass the array variable name, which is a. We already know that a holds the base address, which is the first element of this array, which is 3. But size of operator fetches the entire or the total memory occupied by this array. Let us see what's the total memory occupied by this array. I'll just print we have %d number of elements in array. By the way, it will display the total memory occupied by this array and not the total number of elements. Okay, just know that. In next step, we will see how to calculate the number of elements. For now, whatever it shows, in this case, 100, nice number. So this array variable occupies 100 bytes of memory. So divide it by the memory occupied by single element. So since these are integer elements, let me divide it by size of int. Size of int on my machine is 4 bytes. So total size 100 bytes divided by 4 is 25, I guess. Okay, so we have 25 number of elements in this array. That's the exact number of elements present inside this array. So what if we change it to float or double? It would give wrong result, right? So I'll simply find the size of one single element in this array. Assuming it has at least one element, I'll give size of a of 0. And it gives 25. And it's general formula now. Even if you have character type array and you pass the variable name, and it should give right results instead of dividing it by size of int. So let me write macros to accomplish this. So hash define macro template name is size, we will pass a to it. So the formula here, again, size of the array variable name, in this case it's a, divided by the number of bytes occupied by single element. We will fetch first element of that array, a of 0. So let me compile and execute it. So again it's giving the right results, that is 25. So this is right result and general form. Even if you have character, float or double type array variable and you pass that to size, it will give right result. So let us count 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21 22 23 24 and 25. Exactly 25 elements in this array. So 25 elements, all of it is integer which occupies 4 bytes, so it consumes 100 bytes in your memory. This array variable which we saw previously, that it consumes 100 bytes of memory. What if you have character type data array variable which occupies 5 bytes here? It has 5 elements, so if you pass ch to this size, it will return we have 5 number of elements in this array. So this is general equation. Now you could pass any kind of data to it and it will give right result. Once you have this, you could use for loop to iterate through the elements of this array. Now don't use size of a directly here, that would create overhead. For each iteration of this for loop, you will have to calculate size of this array. Instead, you take another variable count and calculate it once and store it inside count and use it like this. In that case, you need not count the size of this array repeatedly. Okay, so that's the ideal way of doing it. So what else? So this is how you calculate the number of elements or the size of an array using size of operator. Okay, so one homework for you. So go ahead and write array variables without mentioning its size. Take floating point array, character type array, double type array, and initialize it with some data, random data. Don't count it previously. So just make use of the size of operator and the formula we showed you in this program, and output the data result and check the number of elements present in that array. If it matches, you have written the right program. Once you have done with that, please follow the link present in the description section of this YouTube video, and we have written that program and the output for it, and you could check that against your results. Okay, so please follow the link present in the description section of this YouTube video for source code, notes and discussion about this topic. Please stay subscribed to our YouTube channel and blog. Share this video with your friends on WhatsApp, Telegram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, etc. And please do not forget to like this video on YouTube. Thank you.